Pretty mild day out today. It's been pretty mild out all winter so far. Birch tree, cedar tree mixed in with the hawthorn, old hawthorn tree. That's good wood for smoking meat. It's said that it's a good replacement for hickory wood when you go to smoke your meat. Good to know. The size of the cedar tree over here. You don't see them like that too often anymore. Thing is huge. Kind of got broken off at the top and then sprouted a bunch of new shoots off. If you get close to this tree, you can actually see claw marks, probably from a bear. You can see how it's all shredded. It goes all the way up like that. Probably from a bear, maybe cougar. But you can see how big this darn tree is. It's one of the largest ones I've come across recently. Lots of littler ones mixed in with some birch. But yeah, most of those red cedars have been cut down, those large ones. They used to use them for shingles for roofing buildings and stuff. Actually, when I was younger, I had a friend that was part of his job, was to go cut down and collect large cedar trees for shingles. I think him and his friend might have had a small company that offered that service. You can see this is a pretty old forest. It hasn't been seen any activity of human activity in here probably for a good 100+ years, if not longer. You don't see a whole lot of cut stumps in here at all. It's mostly just from old fallen branches and trees. Look at this cedar tree's roots pretty much right out of the ground almost. But yeah, pretty neat. Here's the stumps that are here. You can see they're actually just been broken off. Not even cut or anything. Here's another one. Oh, it's a squirrel. You can't believe they're still up. Typically they would be he's on an old stump that broke off, probably from the wind. You can see one cut stump way over there, probably for that exact reason, for cedar shingles, I'm sorry. But yeah, typically those squirrels, they're hibernating this time of the year normally. You see this type of moss here, it's still green, and most moss is green all year, but forget that might be the twisted star moss. A young hemlock tree. These are a good favorable tree to have in your forest. They're good for your biodiversity. They also have the amazing ability to keep water and then release it slowly, kind of like a willow, throughout the dry period of the summer. So they offer good benefits to the microclimates. There's another little one, quite a few of them in this little forest. They typically spread quite rapidly, and they do really well under the canopy of the larger forest, which is another huge benefit. But yeah, I would just take you for a little walk on my journey to the hay bales. You can see a bunch of hay there. This is my little trail I have. Normally I'd be trudging through a foot or 2 feet of snow this time of year, but you can see there's hardly any here. I'm not complaining. I've dealt with a lot of snow over the years. A good mixed forest, and some spruce and hemlocks and Douglas fir, some red cedar. It's good to see a mixture of trees in your forest. Some old farm equipment. This is my neighbors. They leased this land off of a fellow from California. Their family lives down there and owns the land. So they've owned this land since I've lived here for the past 30 years. Here's a huge hemlock tree there, massive. But they've owned this land, like I said, since I've lived here. So for the longest time, they didn't do anything with it. And then recently, a fellow and his wife have leased it, and they're haying it finally, so I can utilize the hay for my my animals on the farm, which is pretty convenient actually. I don't have to go very far. It also gives me the exercise of carrying it all the way from the farmhouse, or from here to the farmhouse, which is a good exercise every day. Typically carry 2 to 3 bales a day. Here's the waterway. There's lots of beaver activity and otters, actually, believe it or not, that come through here. Unfortunately, the farmers don't appreciate it because they use it to irrigate their fields. So they come in here with machines and rip the beaver dams out that actually are supporting the water habitat to keep it here before it runs off to the ocean. You think the farmer would be smart enough to realize that the beavers are benefiting the exact thing they're trying to stop happen, which is lose all the water so they can't irrigate their fields, which is exactly what happens every summer when they rip those beaver dams down and all the water rushes out to the river and into the lake and down to the ocean, and then they complain they have no water to irrigate their fields. But you can't fix stupid, eh? And unfortunately, a lot of these, I don't like to say those things about people, but the mentality of these old farmers is unbelievable that they still, think this way. They're so narrow-minded, they can't think ahead. And here's the hay that the, I guess you could almost say wannabe farmers tried to hay this field. I mean, at least he's trying to do something with it, but you can see how much waste that has been produced, and to think all the energy and time and most important, the resources from the environment that it took just to build the machines and gasoline and oil, just to produce waste. A lot of this he had told me he's actually just going to burn and not even compost it, which in my opinion just makes no rational sense at all. But I was lucky enough to talk to him while he was here to get some permission to come out and utilize some of it at least. Like I said, for my animals at the farm. Most of it's in pretty bad shape. You can see it's got a lot of water damage to the bales. But like I said, it's unfortunate that these are happening. I'm going to walk you over here. I'm going to show you a few things on the waterway, which I believe is important for people to understand what some of these farmers are still doing. All just for greed. You know, they're trying their best, think they're doing their best to get ahead of sorts. And a lot of the time you see these actions that are just wasteful or just complete destruction for no rightful scientific reason. I mean, our own science teaches us now that these beavers and these, so you can see what they've trudged out of this waterway. Likely that was part of a beaver dam, maybe even a beaver home, I'm not sure. But here you can see what they've done here. They've completely ripped this all up, trudged this out here, which now, if you look closely, you can see all the algae, which is not good for any kind of habitat. So you can see it in there. It's quite extensive all the way through here now. And yeah, you can, yeah, anyway, makes no sense to me. I don't know, what do you guys think? You can leave a comment, have some discussions about these type of things. But the beavers are having a comeback, and which is a good thing, considering that we need to keep this water in the ecosystem as long as we can, so all life forms can utilize it before it rushes off to the ocean. So this is where I seen the freshwater otters last time I was out here. They were sitting right down here along the water, right down there. Yeah, there was 3 or 4 of them. You can see the dam here the beavers have made, which is, it's looking about 3 feet tall from the lower part to the upper part, and now it's created this huge water pond, which has flooded all this waterway again, which is huge beneficial to the local environment. All the birds and bugs and butterflies and deer and waterfowl, beavers, otters, you see every cranes, they're all in there. And this is all just recently since the beavers have come back. When I first moved here 30 years ago, there was hardly any beaver sign, let alone any live beavers. But now I think that the government or organizations have reintroduced them to certain areas, and you can definitely see that they're doing their job again, which is amazing, if you ask me anyway. Farmer might not say the same thing. I ran into the guy that was paid to trap these beavers last year or the year before. He was actually right down in here setting some traps where they had trudged out this beaver dam or whatever. And even himself knew that it was not the right thing to do, but all he said to himself and his kid that was there was that's what he was paid to do. Which, you know, just shows the ignorance of some people, eh? You know, they'll do anything for $1, even if it's destruction of their environment. I mean, I don't like to be the downer guy, but hey, somebody's got to talk about these things. Or these harmful activities that we keep doing, telling ourselves it's normal, it's just the way we do things, is even though it's causing these major complications and issues in the environment. You know, sooner or later we got to come to realize we got to change how we do things. I think it's important. You know, otherwise we're gonna, you know, we're like on a one-way train to a dead-end road here. So it's, you know, time to start talking and changing these things. You know, so we're not getting this type of stuff. You know, half of the hay this guy took off this field here, which you can see just alone haying it has devastated the field. It's mostly muddy, broken grass. It doesn't grow very thick out here anymore because they cut it down right down to you know, less than an inch. Yeah, and then it has a very hard time producing anything for them anymore. Without irrigation and fertilizer, they struggle to get the production they want. But I mean, the production, all that time and energy and resources just to have, I mean, almost half of this guy's hay is now wasted. I mean, more than half of it would be if I wasn't, if I didn't come out and use it for my animals. And he is charging me for the hay. I'm getting kind of a deal on it because it is in pretty bad shape, but it's perfect for bedding for outside animals. You know, they'll eat the good stuff and, you know, toss aside the not so good. But yeah, you can see there's even grass growing, which shows you make really good compost. Like, the farmer complains about parts of the field being all full of sand. And in my mind, I go, well, why wouldn't you take some of this biomaterial and lay it out on the land to create better soil? But instead, they just spend more time and energy to pick it up, pile it up in a pile, and then burn it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm done ranting. I'm sorry, that was all just a bunch of bitching and complaining. Sorry for the language. But this is my backyard, even though I don't own it. I've had access to all this land for 30 years. Still do today. None of the farmers care if I'm ever out here. I got permission. I go hunting out here. The river's literally just back at the base of that mountain over there where those fog line is. And that fog line's likely just above the river, actually. You can see it goes all the way down the valley there, all the way down to Mable Lake. But yeah, there's good fishing out there. Awesome hunting. I've hunted a lot out here, although as I get older, I don't know how much more hunting I'll actually do. I'm starting to eat more vegetables and other foods. But yeah, here we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed the rant. And I'm off. Have a good day. Cheers.